Hey everyone, it's Farrell Spalding here, and today I'm talking about questions that a narcissist hates to answer. And by the way, narcissists hate to answer questions in general because they're put on the defensive, right? And if you're asking questions, probably, they might be guilty of something and they don't want to face it, right? And you're going to bruise their ego. So anytime you're asking questions, be prepared for that defensiveness, that wall to come up, and potentially an attack so they can turn everything around on you. Okay, so the number one question a narcissist hates is why? Why would you do that? If they answer why, then it's an automatic admission of guilt, right? So they don't want to answer that question. So they're going to freak out about it. They're going to get defensive. All kinds of things are going to happen. It could be something so basic like, hey, why did you leave the toilet seat up? Well, what do you mean? Why did I leave it up? Why don't you put it up when you're done? Why do I have to put it down? Well, you should put the toilet seat up. That's what you should do. They're not just going to answer the question. Or they'll be like, why do you park that way in the garage? You park too far over. Why do you do that? Why are you picking on me? They're going to attack you. It's like you're throwing a little an underhand serve and they have to lob it back at you, right? It's a horrible game of tennis, not one you want to play. You're going to get injured. But seriously, they can't answer the question. So a normal person would be like, oh, sorry, babe. Sorry I left that up again. I'll work on that. But a narcissist is going to blow at you because, again, you're attacking that fragile ego. And they can't just say, I forgot. They can't admit any sort of guilt or wrongdoing. And like I say in other videos, it's because of that fragile ego. And they have to be perfect. They're the perfect person in their scenario. They're the perfect person. They're the perfect victim. They're everything. You're nothing, right? What I want you to think about is, instead of asking the why question, and this might be just a great piece of advice for questioning anyone, instead of asking why, ask what. So instead of saying, why did you leave that toilet seat up? Hey, what caused you to leave that toilet seat up? It's a little bit less offensive for a sensitive person. Now, I'm not saying you won't get the same response from a narcissist. You very well might. It might make them think for a second because it's like, well, what caused me? But you might get the same response. But, typically in conversation, it is a little bit gentler or kinder to ask a what question versus a why question. Now, you might be at the point in your relationship with a narcissist where you don't care, and that is fine. But, if you're trying to work on the relationship, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's with a partner, whether it's with a mother, sibling, whomever, friend, sometimes asking that what can be, just a little bit gentler. Question number 2, they can't answer this one. When you say, how can I help? They're grouching about something, they're complaining about something, and whatever it is, whether it's about you or a situation at work or something with their friend, you say, how can I help? A narcissist, especially a covert narcissist, will have a very hard time with this. They are going to be like, well, you can't help, right? Nothing. And they'll get flustered, or they'll be like, what kind of question is that? Gosh, why are you trying to psychoanalyze me? I'm just venting. Can you just let me vent? I listen to you vent about your sister or about your mom or blah, blah, blah. And they will kind of get defensive. And you're just asking a simple question, how can I help? But if you're helping and they allow you to help, then they're being vulnerable. They're letting you in. And also they're threatening that false narrative that they're this great big victim and the whole world's against them and nobody's there to help them. So they're not going to let you help. See what I mean? Here's number 3. Hey, what do you need from me right now? A narcissist will have a very, very tough time with this question too, because a covert narcissist especially has to be needless. Like, I don't have needs, even though it's obvious everybody has needs, and a healthy person can identify what their needs are, right? But when you say, what do you need from me right now? And sometimes if they're grouching at you, it's a great question to sort of, just break the cycle of the back and the forth. They're coming at you with this, and then you're feeling the need to defend yourself, so you're going back at them for that, or whatever the case. But if you just step out of it for a second, go, hey, what do you need from me right now? A lot of times it will render them a bit defenseless. And they might blow up, but chances are they'll be like, oh, well, nothing. And you'll just say, well, if there is something, let me know. I'm going to give you some space because I can tell you're having a bad day. But if there's something that I can do or help you with, please let me know. And then it's important to just leave the room versus just stay there and linger for them to think of another reason to attack you, because they will. Now, some covert narcissists, as you know, will follow you room to room to room and keep nagging at you. And again, you can ask the question. You can ask it 10 times. Hey, I hear that you're frustrated. What do you need from me right now? Right now. And if they ask you to do something like say sorry for something you didn't do, you can say, well, no, I'm not going to offer that. But what is something that I can do to help you right now? But you can't be untrue to yourself in the process, right? So you don't want them to use that against you. But typically when you ask that question, it does kind of stop them in their tracks, because it's sort of a trick question. It's like playing tic-tac-toe, and either place that you go, you're going to lose. That's one of those questions. I like that question. Here's one. Number 4, what are you willing to work on? A narcissist hates answering this question. They won't answer it because that implies fault. That implies they're not perfect. That implies that you're not the complete total enemy, right? That's their false narrative, them against you, right? Especially in those heated moments. So when you say, hey, what are you willing to work on? If they say nothing, hallmark sign of a narcissist. And then you really have to assess yourself and assess the relationship. But you're gonna get that a lot. And sometimes what you say in the moment is like, yeah, that doesn't really work for me. So I'm gonna give you some time to think about that. We can circle back. I hate that phrase, but I like to use it sometimes to torture people. We can circle back on this, and you can let me know what you're willing to work on. And what you can even do is say, here are the things that I'm willing to work on. I'm willing to work on being more patient. I'm willing to work on being a better listener, but I need to know what you are going to work on, because this relationship is 50-50 here. This is not just me, placating you. So, make sense? Number 5, the number 5 question that a narcissist hates to answer, will refuse to answer, is how can we resolve this? This is like kryptonite to a narcissist because they don't resolve stuff. And like I said earlier, when you resolve something with a narcissist, then they lose their false identity. They lose what they think is their core sense of self, right? And they can't do it. So you really have to hold their feet to the fire. They will do everything. It's like dragging them kicking and screaming. They don't want to resolve an argument or an ongoing disagreement, because then again, you're a partnership. You're not adversaries. It's not you against them. And then they're having to be vulnerable. They're having to give a little versus just blame you for everything. And they don't want to do it. So when you say, how can we resolve this? What they'll do is they'll circulate to something else. They'll go, well, I don't know. How do we resolve this? How do you stop doing this? And they'll point it at you. They won't answer the question. They won't take any ownership. So I know it's super frustrating. There's probably lots more questions that a narcissist refuses to answer. So if you guys have any that I haven't mentioned, please drop them in the comments below. If this was helpful, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, hug yourself from me, and we'll see you next time.